Now we're recording. All right, so the importance of guitar setups in the guitar repair business. Like I said, I'm eternally grateful for guitar setups. It's something that I could wrap my mind around. It's something I was good at. It's something that once I got the hang of it, I was really profitable at it. It's something that pays for my rent, all the food on my table, all the stuff that my daughter needs. When everybody comes to me for money, I get all this money from guitar setups. The lights, I just paid my electricity bill. It was terrible. Water, the coffee I drink in the morning, everything that I enjoy about life, it all comes to me really because of setups. So in there, I'm grateful because they're pretty easy. And I don't know if I can handle complex stuff, or I don't know if I want to think about complex stuff as I get older. But setups have been really paying the bills. So that's why I'm here and I'm preaching all about setups because I want you guys to be able to benefit from them just like I have. And so, is it the perfect business? I kind of think so. I really want to grow this one even farther than it is right now, but it's very profitable. It has a very high frequency. So, it's high frequency if you have a lot of people in your town, but people will need it more than once. There's millions of guitars sold in every country every year. So, all these new guitars that are hitting the market, they all need setups. All the old guitars that were sold last year, the year before that, they all need setups. And so there's just tons of these instruments out there. There's all kinds of interest in playing guitar still, and there always will be an interest in playing guitar, even when AI takes over the world. So it has a very high frequency. There's a lot of fish out there to catch. It is repeatable. It is something that what I always like about a task is that maybe it may sound boring, but a task that you can do over and over again and without too much deviation. And the setup is really great because there's different model guitars, there's different a little slight bits of deviation and whatnot, but the system is really the same over and over again. So it's like an assembly line. You got one thing and you focus on that one thing and you crank it out and you make it the most successful one thing that you do. And there's a lot of power in that. It's easy. It's just really using tools, you got to twist your hand, you got to move your arms a bit, you got to lift kind of light things for the most part. You don't have to lift anything heavy. You don't have to go outside really. In fact, you should stay indoors. It's the measurements that we have to take aren't that difficult. It's not that tricky to understand. It's not rocket science. And when I was in cooking, you would know just thousands of recipes, thousands of different recipes and stuff. And with guitars, I think they're pretty simple. It is fast. As long as you stay focused and you're not like me, getting easily distracted, then you can work your way through a setup pretty quickly. At the most, maybe an hour for me on a difficult electric guitar. Sometimes they go longer than that whenever there's a broken part or something like that. But really, a half hour for an acoustic. Sometimes I can finish one in 20 minutes. It's really a fast deal. If I really focus and I don't get caught up in fret dressings, I can do 5 guitars in the morning before noon. So, but I usually get caught up with fret dressings and stuff. It's 5-star reviews. When that transformation happens on that guitar and they go from a guitar that's hard to play to one that's easier to play, and you're helping them with like their number one hobby or one of their number one hobbies, then they're really appreciative of that, which helps out. So it's not like a person who they like the other day I had to buy new tires. Mine were worn out, so I just had to buy new ones. I wasn't that appreciative to the guy. I was, but I don't find I wasn't as appreciative as a person who's bringing me. I fixed up their acoustic guitar. They're really wanting to play it. It plays terrible, and I fix it up, and now it's a lot easier to play, man. Those people are happy. I've made them happier, whereas my tires were just something I needed. It's good for SEO. Guitar setups, that phrase, guitar setup near me, is one of the only kind of or one of the high frequency keywords that people type in a lot. They'll type in like luthier near me, or guitar tech sometimes, but guitar setup is something that people know. And it's something that people will go out and look for themselves. So that's good for us because our customers are out there looking for us. And the benefits go on and on. I'm sure I could brainstorm more benefits than that. So here's some recent math that just reiterates what I've been saying. I took 106 of my most recent customers. So these were the last 106 guitars that I've done. There were 61 electric guitar setups, 11 bass setups, 23 acoustic setups. So in total, 187% of business was setups in the past 106 of mine. 7.4% has been amps. And then the other 5% like miscellaneous different stuff. I didn't measure some other stuff too. The percentage of electric, acoustic, and basses, acoustics were 24% of the setups, so a good bit. Basses were a lot smaller amount, and electric 64%. So the majority of stuff coming through here is electric guitars. Electronics and fret dressings, about 11.5%, whether that was fixing a jack or installing a new pickup or something. And then 7.5% came in wanting a fret dressing. Their owners said, I need a fret dressing. But I didn't measure this because I don't usually write down fret dressing upgrades. I may have to start doing that. But many more left with a fret dressing upgrade because I'll upgrade probably one out of three of them, usually one out of three or four. So a lot of fret dressings going on there. Tailor acoustics. I wanted to measure how many tailors I'm doing to make sure I don't need to take the Tailor certification course. And I did two setups, and I remember them, there wasn't really any need for shims, and then one had a pickup install. Profitability, I'm still at $90. Probably with inflation these days, I could probably raise it. I see prices between $70 and $90. Around my area, they go between 90 and 120, but I look at a lot of websites and stuff, and I see about 70 to 90. Supplies are about less than 50 cents, really. I've been using steel wool, which makes my fret polishing pretty almost cost nothing, but it still costs a little bit. Fretboard oil, and then some deoxit. I think deoxit's probably it's the most expensive thing to re-up on. And then the time on a setup is less than an hour. So if you had 8 guitars, then you could do each one of them in an hour at $90 each. You could make $750, or a little over $750 in one day, which is definitely easy, definitely doable for sure. And you probably wouldn't even have to work an 8-hour day, honestly, as long as you didn't get hung up with fret dressings or electronics or something. There's a really high frequency to guitars. Every new guitar needs a setup. Like almost none of them come from the factory and get to where they're going without needing a setup once the customer has it. Used guitars do too. And seasonal changes means that customers come back. So you do a setup on one guitar, they're going to be back in a year or 6 months because it'll need it again. They're very repeatable. I just said that. A really good system is a money printer. There are a few exceptions that aren't easy, like broken parts on guitars. When you run into and you didn't realize it ahead of time, a broken part, you may need to stop. You may need to figure out communicate with the customer, figure out what kind of part is needed, which can throw your whole workflow off. And then you got to put the guitar aside, start something new, do a lot of texting or whatever, maybe even some research on a part or something like that. So that can throw you off. Needs a fret dressing, that can throw you off. That's maybe an hour detour right there, and that happens a lot. Needs neck shims. That's the most annoying thing. Guitar comes to you, you're doing a setup, and you're like, oh my God, I got to take the neck off and do a shim or something. That's a pain in the butt. New parts don't work on an old guitar. So you got somebody brings you a bunch of new parts to upgrade, and they don't even begin to fit on the old guitar. So you got to modify the parts or modify the guitar, one or the other. Or poor planning by a customer. You may get something that sounds really easy on the email, and then whenever they arrive and you actually get the parts on the bench, putting them into the guitar, they nothing quite fits right into the cavity or something, and those can be some detours there. If you love guitars, don't want to leave the house, and prefer that minimal effort, maximal return, this is it. And what you need is a website to show people where you're located. And then that website has got to give the people some trust factors in there so that you got to convince them to use you. And you do that via trust factors. There needs to be good communication after they contact you. You need to be pretty good at communicating back to them. And then you need to have good customer service whenever they arrive. You need to have professional customer service. After that, once you've got the guitar in your possession, you need to have the tools and the confidence to use your tools, and you need to have a good system to use, which is what we provide here. After that, you need an invoice and a way to collect money, and then a way to collect reviews for feedback and marketing. So you're always going to need feedback from your customers, and you need feedback from marketing. You need to know whether or not you're doing a good job or a bad job. And your feedback loop is while the person is in your shop, they're going to give you smiles and praises whenever you hand the guitar back to them. They may give you smiles and praises whenever their guitar is ready in 1 day or 2 days. A lot of people just say, man, you're so fast, I can't believe it. They may reach out to somebody else who tells them it's going to be 2 weeks on it. But then they get their guitar back. There's been a major improvement, a transformation. The action has got lower, or the buzzing has got lower, or maybe I cleaned all the crap off of it. And they immediately see it. You need that. They need to immediately notice that something's different with the guitar. And then you get that reaction as far as let them play it a bit, as far as, yeah, this has really made the change that I wanted it to make. The more feedback is reviews from Google, Facebook, or Yelp. Have them put in writing what they like about you, and then you can read your reviews. You can tally it up at the end of the day and see what are you doing that people really like. And they'll use common words in their reviews, and you can see what all your reviews have in common. Like they all say, hey, he's fast, hey, he's reasonable, hey, he's knowledgeable, or something like that. So you kind of knows you could figure out your strengths and your weaknesses that way. And another way that you figure out whether you're good or not is repeat customers. Are they coming back to you? And referrals. Are they sending more people your way? I was going to go over tools, and I'll show you how to get to your tool sections. Show you how to get to your course. I usually go through Google. I haven't done one of these meetings in so long, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll start with a fresh tab. Guitarrepairbusiness.net. And then you'll go over here. You'll find your courses. Guitar Repair Business 2.0. And then go over here to the left-hand side. Definitely go here. Welcome to the course. This stuff is still relevant. Join the private Facebook group for sure. Picking out tools. This is going to be your setup tools. Also got another supporting video here. And then you'll use this link right here for setup tools. All right, still works. So feeler gauges, you got different sections of tools here for setups. You got measurement tools, general maintenance type supplies, stuff that we'll be going through. Screw driving is actually pretty important. Tools to make adjustments after you've already made the measurements. String winding is also important. And then we've got some other websites down there. So as far as measurement tools, feeler gauges are going to be number one. I still use these every day. $6 American. You can't go wrong. And they're really accurate. I don't think you need anything else. This Baroque, is this the Baroque one? Or maybe the other one. I like this one too. This for measuring string action. Look, I have got almost 300 5-star reviews, done thousands of guitars on a little bitty cheap string action gauge, and it's fine. It's fine. It works perfect. It's the person reading it maybe that needs tinkering every once in a while, but the gauge works fine. A capo, this is the one that I use, and that's my favorite one too because it's got a really tight clamp to it. It really holds down the strings. It's not a very good as an actual capo. Like it's good as a guitar repair capo, but as a real capo, it moves the strings over a little bit. This is what people hate. Understring radius gauge. I don't use these very much at all, but this is almost like the first tool that everybody wants to buy. Pick it up if you need to, if you want to, but you won't hardly ever see me using these. General maintenance supplies, microfiber polishing papers I've actually replaced with this 040 steel wool. And then the one that I bought is this one right here, the 498. Works great. They'll deliver it overnight. For me here, it does a great job. It's definitely what I recommend. Fretboard protectors, I would definitely still recommend these for sure. You can work on each individual fret. They're actually probably work out to be a little bit faster than using tape, and they'll definitely protect your fretboard when you're starting off new. I would 100% absolutely use these. The Oxit, this is the magic cleaner for all your electronics. And this thing will just really bring things back to life. You'll be using it a lot. Definitely get a can. Don't waste it. It's expensive. It's definitely going to be something that you want to keep around. I really like this stuff. I've been using it for 6 years. I don't have anything wrong with it. It doesn't smell. It works fine. I usually buy the smaller one, this one right here, because I don't like the big one. Sometimes they don't work correctly, the nozzle or whatever, but these always work good and they'll last for a long time. Fretboard oil, this guy right there, those will last for a long time. I'll look for a 2-pack every once in a while if I can find it and just go ahead and pick up a 2-pack because I'll need it. I use that to clean a lot. And man, for some reason, I've had some really dirty fretboards. So I'm putting oil all over it, going over the whole thing with steel wool, the frets and everything, and then going back with to clean up all the oil. But man, I've had some funky ones lately. Autocell metal polish, you'll see me using this a lot, especially after fret dressings. It just gives me a really nice, slippery shine after that. Freen fret polish, that was just an alternative. And I really wouldn't recommend that unless you got a bunch of extra money because it's expensive. Low tack tape for masking frets. You'll need some tape every once in a while, or you'll want some. But really, these fretboard protectors, they'll do the majority of your setup work. The tape is for like fret dressings and stuff, or stuff where you need really fine tape. Screwdriving, quarter inch screwdriver handle, something that you can put some tips into. If you could have the number one, the number two, and the number three screwdrivers tips, that would be awesome. That's the only three that you really need. Or there may be some smaller than that too. It would be great to have that, a couple of really nice flat heads, and you're all good. But the cool thing about this is that little quarter inch right there will go over a Taylor nut. So this will be your truss rod tool for a Taylor. And I use mine all the time. And it will fit, this long stem will fit into a Taylor guitar. It'll work perfectly. But yeah, I would definitely get something with a few tips that you can use. This one looks pretty cool. Even if it had some Allen wrenches on there, some small ones and some big ones, it'd be awesome. I think this has those star deals. Screwdriving is definitely important. And I live by this set right here. You can find this set. Of course, we get 20% off now, but sometimes you can find this set with a different brand. And I know it's the same set. It's just got a different color and it's a different brand, and it'll be like 20 something bucks. I forget, I always mean to find it and give everybody the link, but it may not be as exactly as cool as this. But anyway, it's a great screwdriver set. It's got all your different screwdriver heads in there, which you will need. Like the screwdriver head for the tuners is different for the ones for a pick guard. And it's definitely different from the ones that use that big one right there. I think that's a number three. And then you got all your little flatheads, your little small ones to do your set screws and whatever. And then all these Allen wrenches there so that you can do Floyd Roses. You can also adjust the height of any of your saddles or anything like that. And a little extension deal. I've never used those little screws right there. There's a couple of them I've never really used, but anyway, I use it every single day. If I don't have it, I start to get nervous for sure. But you could probably get away with a different screwdriver set in the beginning. You definitely don't want to use screwdriver heads that are inappropriate for the screw that you're doing. So if it's starting to strip the screw, or if it doesn't quite fit, you shouldn't use that. Tools for adjustment, like the Allen wrench set. I use this all the time, actually. I use it probably once a week. This will cover all your bases, anything that comes along, any Allen wrench situation, you'll be able to do it, and it's worth it. I think that's gone up in price, but it's totally worth it. This guy right here, I haven't used mine in a while. I bought, but this will cover all your nut driver situations too. It'll cover Gibson, it'll cover Taylor, Ibanez, PRS. So all four of those, I've actually got all of those nut drivers here in their own, like a special tool. So I don't need this set anymore, but I need to list those tools down here, the ones that I have. So I'll work on that. All you really need is the one for Ibanez, I think is a 7 millimeter. The one for PRS, just the Paul Reed Smith is the same as a Gibson, but the one for PRS SE is a different one, which is a pain in the butt. And then Taylor is the 1/4 inch. Gibson truss rod tool. I would definitely pick this one up. That's that 5/16. This is a very sturdy tool and it's got a very sturdy screwdriver on it too. I really like this tool. I use it all the time. You can find some cheaper, and if you could, go for it. Martin truss rod tool. Use this all the time. And then you also use this on Yamaha guitars. And there's a few other guitars too that have 5 millimeters. Quite a few that have 5 millimeters. So you'll use it on more than just Martins, but you got to have that long stem right there. Fender USA truss rod tool. Man, those USAs have that little narrow, skinny little truss rod thing. It's not the easiest to work with. It's one of the crappiest truss rods, honestly, in the industry. So I would recommend having a good tool to get in there and make sure that you don't strip it. But that nut will strip easier than anything. It looks like this. This is the one for a made in Mexico. Also, I do so many made in Mexicos. I bought this specialized tool, which I'll go over in a second. I have the American one around here somewhere, but it's just a little bit narrower. And it gives you a lot of torque. It gives you the ability to really turn that truss rod, but you kind of need it with fenders. This is the one I just had. This one's great. I love it. You end up doing a lot of made in Mexico fenders, and if it's a Strat or a Tele, they're all going to need some work. All going to need a truss rod adjustment. Wire cutters, go ahead and invest in some good wire cutters. These look really nice. I wish I had these. Mine are older, but they're never going to break. They're so heavy duty that they're just amazing. They sold about 30 years old. Still the best pair of pliers I have. Peg winder. I just did a vintage like Gibson guitar the other day with a peg winder. So you need one every once in a while. The if they're really when they're old vintage tuners, then I'll use a peg winder. But whenever they're new tuners that are stable, then I'll use on a drill bit. I'll use a drill bit peg winder. You'll see me use cordless screwdriver. I think this is the exact one. Yeah, it is. And I still like it. Still charges up well and it still holds its charge pretty good. And it's 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's probably 6 years old. And then definitely some alternative websites down there. All right. The official GRBS Tech Mat. I think this is still for sale. Yep. Very cool. I still use mine. Probably need to get a new one. I don't think of any other tool I've added lately. The Stumac screwdriver set is a little pricey, but I would definitely recommend it. Just a regular set of pliers, also. Just good old-fashioned set of pliers you're going to need. I think that's about it. I covered it. So I talked about the five-star review, low-hanging fruit, children's guitars, single strings. Somebody calls you up, says, "Can you repair a single string?" Yeah, come on over and just give them a string. Get out of here and send me and give me a review. That's definitely low-hanging fruit. Fret dressing upgrade. We're going to be going over this again a lot this semester. I think it's just adds a significant amount to my business. I've gotten really good at it. Even just keep getting better and better at it. It's definitely something, one of the first things that you should learn. I think it just turns your setups into these transactions that are way over $100, 120, 130, 140, 150. And if you keep your transactions up like that, then the bank account will grow fast. See what most people want in their setup. Low action and no buzz. That's what just about everybody will say. Low action, no buzz. But what they really want, it is low action, no buzz. But they want their guitar to be better than it is now. So they probably don't know, most of your customers won't know what the lowest action they can have and the least amount of buzzes they could possibly have. They'll probably never go that far. They're going to trust you and you're going to tell them and you're going to give them the guitar. But if you need to give them a guitar that's better than it is now, and that's what they're looking for, an easier guitar to play now. And then they also want you to, especially new players, or really all players, identify any other problems that's going to stop them from learning or playing on down the road. And that's like a fret dressing or any sort of electronic issues. So if you notice a jack going out or a potentiometer going out or a nut that's cracked or a tuner that's going out or something like that. So they've brought you this guitar, they've taken their time out for you to inspect it. They don't want to bring it back anytime soon. So you need to go over the whole thing and let them know. They expect you to let them know if there's any other things. And most of the time, the guitar is fine. It's all perfect. I can hardly ever find anything wrong with them. But almost every one of them needs a fret dress. And sometimes there's a lot of input jacks and stuff. But now, what pros and intermediate players want, they may want a particular buzz looked at on a particular section of the guitar that they play on all the time. And it's usually because of player wear or something like that. And that'll lead up to a fret dressing. It could be a new guitar purchase and they need somebody to go through it and sort it out. It could be seasonal changes to their old guitars. They need somebody to go through them. Or it could be like electronic mods, stuff like that. What I want to give the customer back is a guitar with low action that is relatively buzz free because you can't really get a buzz free guitar. But I know that, and I'm going to give them a guitar back that's going to be relatively buzz free with low action. And that's going to be 1.5 to 1.6 millimeters on an electric guitar, measured at the 15th fret, 17th fret, and 2.5 millimeters for an acoustic, measured at the 12th, and then a bass is slightly different, and all that stuff is in the course. Do I ever talk about playing style with the customer? Because you see a lot on the internet about you got to match the setup to a particular playing style, or you got to match the setup to a particular guitar. And we do that. We dial in the guitar at the end. But I never talk to the customer about their playing style. I never, unless they volunteer something, then I definitely listen. But really, when a guitar comes in, it goes through my program and it gets spit out of my program to them. And they're all low action and relatively buzz free. I do not alter setups for different people, really. I just make the guitar play correctly. So I think I said that correct. So I'm not really so much working for I am working for the individual. I don't know how I want to say this, but I don't overcomplicate it by talking to the customer too much about their playing style, this and that. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I definitely do not have that conversation. So that's one thing that we didn't really talk about is playing styles and this and that, because honestly, I don't think you have to worry about it. I think the only thing that you need to do is give them back a guitar with low action that's relatively buzz free. And I think you're there. And I think everything else is overcomplicating things, and it's not necessary. As you get into this business, you'll start to see some stuff that it's like you'll see over and over again. And it really is. It's the kind of like a broken record sometimes, but you'll see new guitars or recently purchased guitars. So the person will say, I just got this. Or the person will say, I bought this on Facebook Marketplace, or I bought this from Craigslist. And they bring it to somebody to have them check it out to make sure it's playing correctly. So I do that all the time. Beginners with their first guitars. Beginners are going to do some research. ChatGPT is going to tell them to get a setup. So you'll get a beginner. I'm very new at this. I am brand new. I just want to set up to make sure I'm doing this right. Closet and garage guitars. These are guitars that have been maybe neglected or just put away for 10, 15, 20 years. They've been purchased at a time in high school or something like that. And then 20 years later, the guy or the girl wants to get back into guitars. So they bring it to you. You've got to dust it off, put new strings on it, make sure it plays correctly, adjust the neck, this and that. I get those. You get those all the time. They have 5 strings on a 6 string guitar or something. Family heirlooms, a lot of broken acoustic guitars that are 50, 60 years old. Those are the ones that are tricky as far as the initial screening, but you get a lot of those. This has been in our family for a while. Can you just get it up and playable again? Like they're gonna put it on the wall, or they're gonna pass it along to the newest member of the family that likes to play guitars. They're gonna give them the family heirloom guitar. Change of string gauge. A lot of people just can't handle moving from a set of nines to a set of 11s. You get a lot of like drop Ds, C sharp, all kind of weird tunings, heavy bottom strings, and the guitarist doesn't know how to set up the guitar after they put that on there. So you get a lot of that. Or you just get the guitar that shows up with a pair of 10 gauge strings, but the owner brings you some 1052s and I want it to be D standard drop C or whatever. So you'll see that. See a lot of Floyd Rose because they confuse people. It seems like a endless like tuning loop because they don't understand the springs in the back and the string tension. And it's a pretty difficult guitar to tune. And if they change the strings, then they're really screwed. So you'll see a lot of that. You see a lot of botched, not a lot, but you see some botched setup from somebody else. Man, one of my friends worked on this guitar. Now it's all messed up. I need you to get it back to normal. You'll see that sometimes. You see the super high action acoustic or the super low action acoustic. That's been from like seasonal changes from humidity or whatever. So you'll just need to really do a neck relief change on it, clean it up, do the general maintenance, and give it back to the customer. It really just takes one twist or turn of an Allen wrench, and they're ready to go again. Electric with the bridge cocking up, like they've done something to the string gauge or they've made some adjustments and now the bridge is just cocking up uncontrollably and they don't know what to do about it. You get guitars like that. You get older gentlemen or ladies, mostly gentlemen play guitars, needing like super low action because they have arthritis. So they want you to alter their guitar so that they can get better action. You get people getting back into it after years and years. Like I said that earlier, they bought a guitar in high school or in college, put it under the bed. They went, got a career, and now they're bored and they want to play guitar again. So they need it set up. And then you get these guitar-aholic guys. You get these people who have multiple guitars and they're just always coming back to you like every other month or every month just for some sort of project. They bought a new guitar, they swapped a new guitar, they bought new pickups, they want a new jack, they want new pots, they want to do this, they need a new nut, all that stuff, and they're just 100% guitar-aholics. And those are your people, honestly. Those are your best customers. Okay, I think that's all I had prepared actually for tonight. And what I wanted to do was I'm going to go over actually doing a setup next week. So we'll maybe have one guitar or a couple of guitars. We'll get out all our tools. And you can bring a guitar. If you have a guitar, you can do it with us. And I'll go over the entire setup system, which is really easy. It's really just four deals that you have to master. And the first one is very simple. The initial inspection, you just check out a guitar to make sure it's going to be okay after you set it up. None of the parts are broken or anything. It's just going to be good to go. It's a normal guitar. It's going to be functional afterwards. And then we're going to do some measurements. Well, general maintenance first, just cleaning it up. That's very simple. And then we'll do measurements and adjustments. And then finally, we'll be really dialing it in, which is also really simple. So, four kind of little quadrants that we'll look at and make money. After that, we'll learn how to do a setup and then we'll start into the business part of it so that we'll learn customer service, we'll learn some marketing, we'll learn how to do our websites correctly, and then everything that we need to start making money. Art, you got any 5-star reviews? Got you muted. Oh no, you sound like Mickey Mouse.
No, it doesn't look like it.
No. Yeah, okay. He may have a log back in or something. You guys got any questions or anything? I hope everybody found this. I assume people are just out for the summer. I don't know if it was clear. I figured people would log in and they would see that the live session link was the student hangout. I may need to be a bit more clear to get people over here to use it.
That's why I sent you an email.
Yeah, I figured people had to log in anyway to go to the links and they'd just be like, oh, here's the link right here. So, but
Am I better now?
yeah, you're better now. What'd you have to fix on it?
I've got 6 5-star reviews right now, but I'm expecting to get 1 or 2 more. I just did a couple guitars over the weekend, and one of them was picked up this afternoon. That guitar was a nightmare. I thought it was going to be real easy. It was a Chibson.
Yeah,
Uh, just wanted to set up, and the nut that he had in it was not glued in, and it wasn't shaped or anything. And he wanted that shaped in and everything. When I took it was actually glued in, but it wasn't actually in the slot. And I didn't find out why until I got it out. And then there was a ton of glue in the slot, and there was a bunch of black finish from the headstock that had ran into the slot. So the slot was not flat. And I tried to fit the nut that he had was black. I tried to fit that nut into the slot with the black finish in there. Wouldn't work. So I ended up scraping all that out of there. And then I discovered that the slot was actually cut at the same angle as the headstock was leaned back. So the
uh,
slot was angled. So I had to level off the slot and then fit the new nut in and then hope that the new nut was tall enough to work. And of course it was, but then it was constantly loosening the strings, taking out the nut, shaping it until it was tedious as hell, but I finally got it in.
yeah, yeah.
It was cool.
That sort of thing will slow you down. Nut work,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it did. And the cool thing is I charged the guy for the setup and the nut. I charged him $115
Yeah.
and he was happy to pay me. I put a white nut that I had one in stock that just happened to fit his guitar. And lately, I'll quote somebody for a setup, and while I'm looking at the guitar with them, I'll tell them like, "Hey, I see this is wrong or this is wrong. What do you want to do about it? Go ahead and take a look at it and fix it if you need to." So
Yeah.
I'm averaging about $100 a guitar right now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
way
That's great.
cool. And
That's
July was
great.
my last month. I had to have carpal tunnel surgery
Ooh.
back in July, and I was out for almost 3 weeks before I went back to work. And the first 17 days of July was my busiest month ever, even only 17 days. And I've only been open for a week now, and I've already done 2 guitars. I have a guy that told me he'll bring me 4 guitars on September 1st.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
yeah, he's going to leave town for a couple weeks. So I'll have a couple weeks to
Oh,
put.
even better. Love it
So
when they do that.
business is definitely picking up. I got a guy that's supposed to be coming with a Floyd Rose this week. And I haven't done a Floyd Rose since I did them for myself, and that was I think I sold that guitar 10 years ago. So it's been a while since I've done a Floyd Rose. I'm a little nervous, but I'll go over the stuff on the course about it to refresh my,
Yeah,
I
it's
wasn't
not a
that
big
good at
deal.
it, but
I did a Floyd Rose the other day that was a pain in the butt, and it was a new Floyd Rose setup, basically. Like the springs had never been done. It was a new tuning for the guitar and everything, and I sat there and went back and forth, but definitely doable.
well, my biggest things lately is I've had several acoustic guitars in the last couple of months, and I set them up and the action was just a little high. Talked to the client about it. They were okay. And then they ended up bringing it back. The action was too high and I had to sand down the saddle. And that's something I hadn't done before until last month. And I ended up doing it on 3 guitars. 2 of them were
Yeah.
returns. And
Oh, so what was the action whenever they went out?
I want to say it was right around 2.5, just a little over maybe.
Oh, yeah, and they want it lower than that.
Yeah, I said the one guy with the 12 string, he was just like, it's just so hard to play. And he's learning how to play a 12 string anyway, so it's already hard.
Yeah, that's the
It's,
hardest.
I sanded it down and I probably could have took it a little bit lower, but I think he was pretty happy with it when he got it back. I didn't want it to have any buzz.
I'll usually tell them that I've got your guitar set up, and the action is 2.5 millimeters, which is a professional range. If you want the action any lower, then we've got to sand the saddle. And then I may say, I'll usually leave it at that, but I'll say something. If we sand the saddle, it could affect the way it works with a capo or something, because that's your one thing you're worried about.
Yeah,
And then let them make that decision because you're also altering the guitar from its original state. If it's a Gibson or a Taylor and you start sanding the saddle, then you've altered the guitar. So
yeah.
you need to seek their permission to do
Well,
that.
I'm
So,
learning that a lot of people, first of all, they don't take care of their guitars. They don't keep them in a humid room. And Utah is a very dry place. If I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but
oh, I
it's
can imagine.
it's like the second or third driest state in the country. And I have guitars, like I had a guitar a few months ago, came in, and the guy bought it when he lived in Florida, and it was 10 years old when he bought it in Florida, and it probably lived its first 10 years there. And then he brought it to Utah, and he's a police officer in Salt Lake City. He doesn't have a lot of time to play, so he just sat in a closet for 4 years. And then he brought it to me, and it was totally unplayable
Oh,
and
yeah.
had several dead spots up the neck. And I ended up buying some humidipacks from Diodario, and I packed this guitar case full of, and the sound hole full of humidipacks, and I put it in a closet with a humidifier for 22 days. And when I took it out, it was pretty much playable. It only had one dead spot left in it. And I think the neck
Nice.
was actually starting to warp on it. And I adjusted it as best I could. But he actually went and his wife allowed him to take one of their rooms in their house just for his guitars, and he's got humidifiers in there now and everything. And
That's nice.
he's brought me 2 or 3 other guitars now, and most everything he's doing now is like pickup swaps. Like I put a set of EMGs, a het set in one of his guitars last month, and he's telling me he's got 5 more guitars he wants to bring me. And that's the beauty I find about what we do here is most guitar players own more than one guitar.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you do a good job on their first guitar, they're going to come back.
Yeah.
And I also live in a place where Salt Lake's on the other side of the mountain from me. It's 40 minutes to get there with no traffic. And right now, because the way my county is growing, the construction on the interstate to get between here and Salt Lake is a nightmare, and every day it might be something different. So I'm the only local licensed business in my county that does guitar stuff. And every
Mm,
month my shop grows a little bit. I'll get 1 or 2 more customers.
yeah.
And it's just the guy I did the Chibson for today, he plays in a 5-piece band. And the guitar that he brought me, he got from a bandmate. And that guy had tried to modify that guitar himself and failed.
Yeah.
So I got a feeling I'm going to get more business just from the guys in his band.
Oh yeah.
And
Totally.
I'm finding this very rewarding. I wish I could get more busy, but I'm going through the process. I've only
Yeah,
been
growing.
7, 8 months, and every month I do a little better.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's all I
Good.
can really hope for. And I hope that my goal is to do 10 guitars a week. And I'm
Yeah.
not even close to that yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, wait till about next year at this time, you'll be there.
I hope so. That'd be awesome because
Yeah.
I mean, 10 guitars a week is twice as much my retirement check. So I'm down for that.
My goal right now is to get to 300 5-star reviews. Should probably have a bigger goal, but let me see. I've got a lot lately. I got a few more.
I'm hoping to get to 10 soon.
Let's see. I've got 278 now. So,
Nice.
yeah, awesome.
The,
Okay, guys.
one of the things I just wanted to ask you about is I have people that I've been turning away that have headstock and neck repairs because I don't have the tools and I don't have the knowledge. And so I've looked at some clamps, but I don't understand how a C clamp is going to help me put a neck back together. I can see
Uh,
it does a headstock, but not a neck. And I can see I
yeah.
need multiple clamps.
Sometimes you need special jigs for all that too. People build special tools and jigs to be able to
Yeah,
put
I noticed one of the guys
weird things
on the
back
group
together.
was talking about having a call that he built for it to
Yeah.
fit to, and I've seen those on StuMac. And of course, I don't want to spend that much money on something like that if I can get away with it.
Yeah, that's the type of stuff you got to build yourself.
Yeah, but I could do, I could probably do a half a dozen neck repairs in the next couple of months if I just told people I could do it.
The headstock repairs aren't that bad. As long as you get a pretty good surface to glue,
Yeah,
then it's not too bad. Now, if you get a really weird one that's chopped off where there's no surface area, then that would take more specialized tools. Uh,
yeah.
but as long as I've always had really good luck, as long as there's enough surface area to make a good joint with wood glue, then I just clamp it. And I don't know whether you call that a U clamp or not, but I'll
Well,
show.
CA glue is the kind of stuff that I want to use, right?
Do what? It's in the. I have some headstock repair stuff in the course.
Okay,
Uh,
I'll be looking at it. I've been trying to get through I'm actually 100% on the business side and I'm up to 33 on the repair side.
there's a bunch of different size clamps and stuff. Some would be like better for headstocks. I'm not quite sure if I understand about a neck repair. I don't personally do resets like neck resets. I don't do anything
Yeah,
like
I don't want to get into
that.
something like that myself.
I don't either. It's usually really cheap guitars that need them, and I don't think most of the time the just the work to do would be more than the guitar is worth. But yeah, crack repair, like I went over 106 guitars. There was only two, I think on my notes, there was only two crack repairs. And one was a bridge glue and one was I think it was a headstock or something within the last 106. Actually, I don't think it was a headstock. I forget what it was, but just another little, oh, it was like a body crack on an acoustic guitar. So within the last 100 guitars, nothing really major has come in. Now that changes, but I
I've
get
turned down probably a half a dozen people already for headstock and neck repairs, and I just told them I don't have the tools and I don't have enough training yet to feel comfortable
headstock
doing
repair.
it.
Just get some clamps from StuMac.
Plus, I turned away a guy with nylon strings the other day because I've never done one.
I have that in the course too. I'm pretty
I
sure.
know that's in the course. I've actually watched you do one and not looked really complicated.
Nah, you got to learn somehow. Buy two sets of strings and mess up one of them or whatever. And I've been doing a really foolproof method where I just use it's like double knot at the bridge end, and then on the unwound strings, like the problematic strings, like the high ones, I'll just tie a knot at the headstock and do it like that, and everybody's happy. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to contact me. And for the new guys watching the replay, welcome to the course. For the old guys, welcome to the 15th semester. Been doing this for a long time. Try to think of some stuff to make this a little different than the last time. Maybe we'll do some amp repair, maybe not. I'm not sure about that. Probably some more foot dressing stuff and some more electronics and stuff like that. And maybe we'll find some oddballs to work on.
Maybe on sanding down saddles, how to,
Yeah, I might could pick up that tool, try to pick up the tool for sanding saddles. I just did a saddle the other day, actually.
like that.
Yeah, okay. Nuts and saddles and whatnot. All right, I'll see you guys later, and have a good night.
You
Good
too,
night,
thanks,
Eric.
appreciate it.